right, so,
Good, guys.
all right, so again, we're here, we're working a couple things. One, I am still using my arms here, but I'm trying to get my head, my chest and my hips behind this so that I can drive forward using my hips and my chest here. That's one of the big details I want you guys kind of to work on as we're doing this. So now we get here, boom, I get here, and Austin's a big, strong kid. So like I'm trying to work this and it's just not working. He's straightening, he's, you know, kind of involving his other hand, making my life much more difficult than he needs it to be. So I'm here, all I'm gonna look to do is pull this elbow across my body and attach it to the far side of my chest. So I'm here, I'm going to pull it across here. Now, as I do that, my back knee is gonna slide up to the very top of his head, keeping this grip here. As I do that, that's gonna allow me to bring my back leg here, is gonna come underneath his arm and scoop here into a nice armbar position. Now, I'm gonna keep this attached to my chest the entire time, lean ever so slightly, enough to put my weight onto Austin and off my back leg. That's gonna allow me to windshield wiper, pass the leg in front, and then finish the armbar. Nice part about this is now you can keep, I like to keep the Kimura grip because it's just a solid grip. The only thing I change is my hand that was grabbing the wrist just scoops it at that point. Because I like to keep this elbow control and then fight him at the wrist. Now if his hands are locked or he's doing anything crazy like that, remember we fight bottom leg first. Kick start, attach to our chest, pinch our knees, finish the armbar. So we're here, I'm fighting with Austin. Boom, I get here. He's just being difficult, right? He's just not letting me submit him like a nice person would. So I get here, boom, I'm gonna switch that side because a lot of people will think, oh, well, that's okay. That allows me to slide up, scoop with my leg. Now, once we're here, we're in a solid position. We don't have to rush. You're in a, some people call it combat mount, S, you know, it's a variety of S mount. It's an arm bar, call it what you want. But once I get here, I keep this attached to my chest and I keep my pressure on him because as Austin can attest, even at 180 pounds right now, I still feel pretty heavy sitting on his ribs.
I'm thinking 190.
So, I weighed myself this morning, don't insult JJ. So I'm here, I attach to my chest, I'm gonna lean in just that little bit. That's gonna allow that windshield wiper motion with my foot. The big thing I don't wanna see you guys do is like high stepper over this. You want to stay as low and tight to this as you can. Gives him the least amount of opportunity to counter. So I get here, I windshield wiper my knee out, boom, comes right over his face. That then allows me to attach to my chest, boom, I can switch my grip. I don't have to unpack sometimes I do. Get that wrist, fall back, pinch the knees, finish the arm bar. Questions on this? I'm gonna walk through it a few more times, but I always like to know the questions. Let's go this way. Questions on it? Nothing? All right. So I'm here just from a different angle. Boom, I push. It's not working. I drive across. That allows me to slide this knee up. Now, a big thing people have struggled with in the past with this is getting this knee high enough. I'm not just sliding the knee up a little bit. I want the point of my knee kind of on the crown of his head, here. That's then gonna allow me to scoop this leg under, this arm. Once I'm here, I lean and windshield wiper, pass the leg over, finish the arm bar. Good? All right, 1, 2, 3. So, scoop back this way. So, mounted Kimura, mounted armbar, both relatively basic techniques. Obviously, I always want to tighten up a couple of your guys' details as we're learning those. But as we're here, boom, I get here, boom, slide up, here. A lot of people are going to start noticing, hey, he's trying to armbar me from here, right? Pretty common that would be the path I'm on right now. So most people are going to do one of a couple things. So we're going to address the two quickest defenses that people are going to go to, and then we're going to go to a couple different transitions out of this that can allow you to attack more options. So I'm here. Most people are just going to connect their hands. So they're just going to S-grip here, and they're going to be like, all right, I'm just going to try to hand fight here and defend the armbar, which is great for me. It gives me a lot of great options. So a lot of people are just going to kind of S-grip here. Makes it really hard to break, and if they don't suck, it makes it really hard to just kick their hand out, right? So I don't like to fight people where they're strong. They're strong right here. He's got his wrist trapped. He's, you know, this is hard. So all we're going to do, I'm going to give him a nice little leg hat here. So I'm going to use the pit of my knee just over the cap of his head. As we do that, I'm going to reach over and I'm going to pull this arm in. That's going to allow me to post this hand up, bring this knee around. Now, you're in the same exact position we were just in, but on the opposite side. So now we're going to use this hand in the elbow, windshield wiper over, boom, you're in the far side armbar. So we're here, if Austin connects his hands, sometimes I will go just wrist hand in, sometimes I will scoop at the elbow. That's kind of a dealer's choice. If you have the gi, I like this one because you can grab that little piece of that elbow cloth. If you're pajama free, I just like to start acting like this hand's gonna hand fight in. Oh, I'm gonna break this grip, I promise you. I'm definitely gonna break this grip. I'm not just gonna transition because that's way easier. So I'm here, here, and up. Allows me to transition to that other side. As I'm doing that, I love to pinch my knees here because it kind of collapses his elbows together. Gives you that cross arm view. Here, scoop the arm, windshield wiper the leg. You can do it back and forth until they run out of steps to stop you from doing it. Which is what I like about this is it's kind of, you can just keep running the gambit on this until they run out of defensive mental focus, basically. So we're here, he's got his hands locked. It's like, you know, most of the time we're right here. This hand switches to the inside. This hand scoops the head. As soon as this hand scoops the head, I'm here, driving that knee up. Now, nice part is when you do switch that hand in, every once in a while you're going to be able to find the arm tucked version of this, which is my hands are in here, and you can just tuck that elbow to elbow and bring it back. Now, if you do get the elbow tucked version of this, slow unless we're not friends. I can break Austin's arm here with just a, hi, how are you? Really fun to scare Austin like that. But
I was scared.
But when I get here, just a simple hip extension can finish this. So you can finish it from here, or if you sit back very slowly, you can finish here. But the nice part about this is, guys, it allows you that option to switch sides and attack both arms. So at no point are they safe during this. Because a lot of people just grab their hands and then they'll start setting up their hitchhikers, their, you know, thumb out escapes, all those different options. Nice part about this is it cuts a lot of those escape options out by being able to transition from side to side. Questions on this? Setup's the same to get here, just that ability to transition sides. One more time, just from this side here. I'm here, I'm working arm bars. I promise I'm gonna arm bar you. Boom, I go here, here, slide up. As soon as we're here, I start attacking and attaching this top arm. I can lean, windshield wiper, past the foot, pinch the knees, finish the armbar. Just gives you a great option to be able to stay in that armbar position, but continue attacking without having to kick out or do any of the other crazy, you know, kind of typical grip breaks. Chill her out. 1, 2, 3. No. All right, so we're here. Obviously, being able to transition side to side, pretty awesome. I'm going to teach you an aggressive submission next. It's not one that you can all use at all times. It's a bicep slicer. So before you use this in competition setting, make sure you check your rule set. You can use it some of the time, not all of the time. Most of you can use it very sporadically depending on tournaments and depending on what division you're doing. But it's good to be aware of. It's good to kind of know these things as you're coming up so you don't get blindsided when you roll with an upper belt or you go somewhere to cross train or you end up in an advanced division at a tournament, right? So boom, I go here, I slide up, come up, right? Now, Austin immediately starts to do the right thing. I always call it packing his hands. So he grabs his bicep, collapses the arm over the top, so that way when I get here, it's very hard for me to get this wrist out. I can fight, I can kick, I can do all sorts of things, but it starts to get really tough. Then Austin does the right type of defense. He's going to start pushing that leg off and trying to get his head and shoulders over my leg. So I don't want to sit here and fight this for too long, because the defensive options from this armbar defense are pretty solid. And they become more and more problematic the longer you give them to work on them, right? So I'm here, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give Austin a big thumbs up towards his forearm, here. So wherever his forearm is, I'm trying to line up the blade of my forearm with his forearm and with his bicep here. So I keep that here, I'm just kind of lining that up, just letting him know, hey, you're doing a great job defending.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
My leg side, or my body side leg, is going to come in front of his elbow on top of his forearm, kind of lining up with mine. As soon as that gets here, I'm going to cross my leg over, and you're going to very gently squeeze your legs and lean into it. So I'm here. Austin's got his hands packed. I like to kind of help their elbow here. I'll kind of keep them right here. I'm like, yeah, you're doing the right thing. Really great job. Really appreciate what you're doing here. As soon as I'm keeping my leg extended here to keep the pressure off Austin's bicep, so his bicep doesn't rupture.
So nice.
Collapse this here, and it goes. So, what this is attacking, one, it can rupture your bicep tendon, which then detaches your bicep, and is why it is illegal in a lot of tournaments for like white belts to use. The other option is it collapses his forearm and it snaps it in basically a bunch of little pieces. Very careful, very gentle with this submission. We're going to work on it real quick, and then I'm going to work a couple other options, but that's why I like this, is because especially as you start moving up in rank and moving up in expertise levels, it becomes really aggressive. Carolyn?
When you're locking that in, are you putting the foot down and cutting the angle back?
So when I'm here, I'm going to do it without Austin's arm in.
Oh.
So I'm here, I'm trying to arch and fall in, but I'm trying to pinch my knees, hips, and everything into that. Basically, I'm trying to surround this arm with as much pressure as I can, because the goal is to rupture his bicep. That is why it's called a bicep slicer. That's why it works this way. Because the goal is basically, under the force of pressure, burst that tendon and it detaches the bicep. Very rare that actually happens, but most people are caught so off guard from the pain of this that they tap very quickly. And you can get caught in a bicep slicer from a lot of different positions, so I want to make sure you guys are aware of, hey, if I do pack my hands like this is coming. Because I hit it from bottom as well. Actually, it's more this is actually more effective from bottom. Long story about my favorite one to do it is, but it's much more effective from like that swing arm bar when they trap there. It's just as effective. So like if I'm here with Mr. Steers, like one of my favorite ways to hit this is a lot of people, as I'm attacking this arm bar, will hide their hand, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's just as effective from bottom as it is from top. So realize when I'm teaching you guys a move, realize I am teaching you it in that location, in this idea, right? But knowing that concept exists allows you also the option to apply it other places. Realize just because I haven't taught you an arm bar from the back, right? Let's say we haven't worked that before. Doesn't mean you can't hit one from the back, guys. That same concept of how you want to get to an arm bar may be different, but the concept of arm bars are still available in 90% of the positions in jiu-jitsu. You know, having your back taken, it's a little harm to swing arm bar somebody, but in one step. But you can start to see a lot more options from a lot more places when you start learning the concept, not just the move set. So the concept of an arm bar, of I can attack it this way, that way, is why things like the dummy arm bar from north-south works. It's an arm bar that absolutely should not work, but does. Because the concept applies. Oh, you have a weird look. North-south. I'm here, and a lot of people will sit here. And they'll be working from like north-south or side control. It's called the dummy armbar because you can only hit it on dummies. But a lot of people will go from like crucifix to north-south. And they'll be working here. And like if I'm working crucifix position, a lot of people will come here to try to start going for the choke, which will force people's arms out. Which if they kind of get kind of lackadaisical with this, you just slide your leg up under the elbow and you extend it. You're forcing the hyperextension of the elbow past a point over a fulcrum. The concept of an armbar still works from there. That's why jiu-jitsu is fun, guys. But, so the more you can learn the concept of moves, the more ability you'll have to apply them as you see fit. So that's why when I talk about things like concepts and reverse engineering and doing those type of things, that's why it's important as you move up in the game. Because white belt is learning how to mimic what I show you, right? It is monkey see, monkey do, right? I show you X move, you do X move. Blue belt is when you go, I show you X move, you can do X and Y. Purple belt is when you learn X, Y, Z. And then brown and black belt is where you go, I learn X and I can apply it on 4 different areas of the alphabet, not just this one. That's how the game progresses. Is being able to hit the same concept of a guillotine from 14 different positions. I can hit the same concept of a mounted guillotine and a bottom side guillotine are the same thing, just different positions. But I can use the same finishing principles, the same locks, the same motions to finish them. Does that make sense? Really philosophical head top stuff, but that's why this works. Anyone need to see the bicep slice again?
Please.
Yep. To Austin's chagrin.
We're doing.
So I'm here, boom, we're working. Austin packs his hands because he doesn't, like he's gonna, a lot of people are gonna go to this. I teach this as a standard defense. You tuck one hand under the leg, your wrist in the armpit. It's a very secure position. It's very hard to beat. So when I get here, all I do is I line my forearm up with the blade, the bottom blade, into that bicep. So thumb towards his forearm. I get here. I like to keep just a solid grip, and you're bringing leg side over here. It is an uncomfortable move in a hurry. Slowly, carefully with our friends here. Questions?
I do. I have one.
Yes.
So you're going up. You're going
Yep. So you want to, the goal is, because if I do it here, don't get me wrong, it's uncomfortable, but this was just in my hand in kind of that standard knuckles up position.
That nervous laugh.
Like I said, that little panic is what I want from people. That's why I turn that thumb up. It just creates a better blade to cut into the bicep and into the forearm.
B guy is the setup for this technique. B guy should be scooping under the leg.
Yeah, so basic concept of how he's trying to defend an armbar, because this will be a pretty common one. The arm that is being attacked, you're going to put that wrist in the elbow. As that leg comes over, you're trying to tuck the hand behind that pit of his knee. Because what you're trying to do is basically start pushing that here, walking over, and then turning up into him. Because in life you always want to face your problems, you don't want to run away from them. So he would come up and into here. Yes, jiu-jitsu is that way. Yes, JJ?
Does this work if they grab the elbow?
Yeah, if they're doing any sort of deep arm defense here, like a lot of guys will do kind of that weave, they grab both elbows and they're just holding, they are not escaping, they're just defending here. Perfect. Because anytime their hands are trapped like that,
Became a rapper.
it's a quick one. All right, careful with your friends. 1, 2, 3. All right, so I'm going to show 2 transition options, and then we'll go from this to rolling live. But I'm here, boom, I go here, but boom, I slide up here, and let's just assume I've kind of become convinced that Austin's a little bit harder to armbar than the distance is worth, right? Sometimes you don't want to fight people in certain positions because they're just hard. We have a guy at our gym right now, his name's Mike. He literally, I tried to triangle him and he deadlifted me off the floor faster than I've ever moved.
It was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I posted
Saw
a
that
clip
video.
of it, but I literally was in the air above his head. Not like he picked me up a little bit off the mat, and it was scary for a second. I mean, he grabbed my belt and had me above his head before I could realize what was happening.
You're
I
like
looked over, I was like, he's gonna power
You're like
bomb
the
Dustin.
cheerleaders,
Yeah.
they flip up in the air.
Yes.
Yeah, I literally looked like I was flying. And so it's like, okay, I'm not going to armbar him. He's too hard to get a hold of his arms to be able to do that to. Some people have Gumby shoulders. Some people have really good defense. Sometimes just this move isn't worth, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? So I'm here. All I'm going to do, I'm going to still keep him up on his side. I'm still going to lean here. I'm still going to windshield wiper. But instead of passing this leg over, I'm going to use it as a base. I'm going to get that little bit of space and use it here. Then all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull Austin up and across.
Yeah.
The nice part is,
Body triangle.
if you're good, it sets up a pretty good body triangle. If not, it just sets up a back.
Legs are awesome.
So, we're here. Boom, I'm working. I'm like, oh man, I would really like to armbar you. I promise. Just kidding. I'm going to go here, pull those arms away and towards me here. Now, for me, I like a good body triangle if you have the position for it. If not, I'm just going to come here and start working for the back. Nice part about this is, guess what you can also do? If you still have this here and you're defending, and he starts defending the back really well,
Armbar.
What?
you can transition back into the armbar. That's crazy. So we're here. I'm working things. It's, I'm going well. I lean here. All I'm doing, guys, I'm posting here and pulling him forward here. And rolling to my hip here. The second he comes here, I just like to collapse the elbow behind. I keep this for the backpacking sake and just stay here. Now for me, I'm going to start working chokes, but good news is, if he starts to become more difficult, you can just transition back to the armbar. Or for those of you who are point fighting in a jiu-jitsu match, transition them here. Oh, I get my points. Come back to mount, and then start to finish. If you need quick points, also a nice option. Obviously, always try to take the submission if you think you got it, but if you're like, he's defending that armbar really well, boom, transition to the back, secure your points. Then if you lose the armbar after that, it's like, sucks to suck, but I still got my 4. All right? Questions on that transition? None? All right. We're here. Second option. Boom. I come up, I start doing all these things, right? And I'm here, and obviously, there's always options to bicep slice, switch sides, do all these fun things, right? Last option that I like is just in case you need a little bit of an enemy in life. So I like to come here, I'm going to switch my hands, just like we're going to transition to the far side, right? But instead of transitioning to the far side, all we're going to do is I'm going to post this hand here, and I'm going to put this foot right next to his shoulder. That's going to allow me to come up and drive this knee to the mat. So I'm here, I post. That brings all my weight off this leg. My goal is to put my shin across his throat and or chin. If he tucks his chin on this, that's his problem, not mine. It's not a choke, it's a jaw crank. I'm trying to attack your throat. Your chin being in my way is not my problem. Boom, I'm here. And you want to turn your shin down so that it's the driving force in the throat. So I'm keeping this attached here, driving up. Now, your goal here is to hit this knee on the mat and this knee on the mat. And then drive all the weight through your shin bone. So without Mr. Steers, if he'll sit up for a second.
Breathe a second.
Breathe for a moment. I'm here. The goal is to come up here and then drive your weight through the shin. Now, as you can tell, if done properly, should be pretty aggressive. You should get the gurgle effect as you sit up.
Make him sound like Donald Duck.
So, try both of those, whichever one you think is going to work better for your game. Whether it's transitioning and taking it to the back, or if you want another sub to add into the repertoire, obviously add that go-go into the game. Questions on either of those? Yep. So we'll walk through both one more time and then we'll drill. So boom, I get here. I'm attacking that arm bar, good things are happening. I'm like, mana. All I'm gonna do, go to transition here. I'm going to pull forward, back that back. Now, like I said, nice part about this is you can transition back, which then allows you to switch your hand, post here, drive that shin across. And when you're driving that shin through, it should almost be like if we walked over to the leg extension machine. Like that similar type of drive that shin through their throat. It's not all just your weight and your pressure. You should also be that kind of driving force through your. That's the difference in between an okay and a good go-go plata. All right? 1, 2, 3.